Welcome everyone. That little short intro is just one of many ways of playing Sympathy for the Devil, but this is to raise a glass to Charlie Watts. God bless him. Kind of like the Quiet Beatle, right? Just a dapper man. I didn't know him obviously, but we all had our troubles, and regardless, the man was steady for a backbeat. Him and Keith Richards, you just can't beat the rhythm of the Stones. Kind of came to appreciate the Stones later in life, although I had friends that always loved them, and I never got it. And unfortunately, later in life, it was like, okay, I see why you like this, you know. So, anyhow, we're going to go over this song. I'm going to show you some of the riffs that they do live, which I really enjoy the later versions, personally. I think it just, the way they brought it out really made the hairs on your arms stand out. So we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about the structure of the song. Never thought I'd be doing a song about no guitar, but this song has really, other than the leads, no guitars in the studio version. Now, of course, live they do it different, and that's what I want to focus on. So I'm going to give you some tools and help you to understand what they're doing, show you the structure. We'll go over the studio solo because I just absolutely love that. And I think there's one note people are missing in the very first break. So we'll talk about that, of the solo, and you'll have the songs. Okay, the structure of the song, we've got mostly piano, is a basic 4-chord structure. We got E, we got D, we got A, and we got back to E. Alright, there's 4 measures of that. And what I think people forget is after the 4th measure, there's an actual extra tag of E before they go into the chorus. So the chorus is B to E, back to B, and back to E. Alright, so we have that extra tag. So if we were playing this on the 4th measure, we'd have, be back into it. Okay, thing that throws me off even right there, I hesitate a little bit because the piano adds suspended notes to the chords. So when he plays a B, he adds the suspended note, all right, this E note to that B. So you could do that with your pinky if you want, making this a B7th or suspended 2nd, B7th. You could just lay your finger down. Alright, so that is key right there. That's suspended. Okay, the other thing the piano does is a little walk up during the verse. So we've got our E to D and A, and then there'll be a walk up from there. Suspended even there. So that'll give you the structure of the song. I wrote that out. My notes again will be available down here. I'm going to touch on, there's a version, Get Your Yayas Out, where they go kind of nuts with it. I mean, it's a real fast tempo and so forth. But we'll talk about what the kind of rhythm they're doing, which I noticed Ronnie pulls from in later years and Keith just plays around. So we'll talk about that next. So the Get Your Yayas Out version will go like this, but think of the chords E to D. All right, so we're playing the bottom half of the E, and we're adding these notes to the chord. All right, and there's an extra note there, and I'll talk about that in a second. But so what we're doing is we're adding this suspended on, then we'll add it again. So we're at the 9th fret, and we're going from 9 to 11 on the 5th string twice. Then we're going to go right to the 4th to 11. All right, so we have this. And then we're going to pull off from that. Then move the same form to the D, the bottom half of the D. Then we're going to go to this form of E and add this, which is a suspended, all right, but it's really an A chord. It's the C form, okay, so if we covered the chords and played a C shape with our other fingers, our root note would be on that A. We're just leaving it off. So that's how they get to the A, all within this 2, or I should say 3 fret range. We're going E, D, and A. Alright, so they're just hammering on that 11 and 10 on the 2nd string. And then just a kind of up, chukka, up. And then back to the E. Now the E, because we're turning around, you just kind of let it ring. And then go again. And, all right, let me talk about that extra note because I keep doing that. That's kind of a habit. I'm going off the 4th string pull off and landing on 11 on the 5th string. So I wrote it out and I put it in red so you know it's optional, because I've heard them do that occasionally in some of the live songs, and I picked it up. But again, it's optional. This is the Stones. I really play this how you want. It's so you understand now what they're doing with the E, the D, the A, and back to the E. All right, let's talk about the chorus. So for the chorus, if you just want to play the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string, that leaves your pinky to come down on that 4th string for the suspended. And then you're back to an E for a count. Then back to that B. Alright, so I've written this out. You can follow that. I've written an alternate where you're just chukka-ing. You're going to hammer on the 5th string and then just play that 9th string. So that is the basic rhythm chord structure. You know, take the song, make it your own, play with Keith, play with Ronnie. It's a lot of fun. The Havana video is really fun to play with because you're doing this exact same thing. Later years. So we'll go over the solo next, and remember during this whole thing, Charlie's keeping that backbeat. Here's the first 2 measures of the solo at speed, and then we'll go over that. So this solo starts with a rake, and a rake being we're going to just hit the strings coming up almost individually from the 12th to the 3rd string. Where I think people miss a lot is there's a D note on the 2nd string at 15. So we have 12 on the 1st string, 15 on the 2nd, 12 on the 3rd. Alright, so it's a real quick. What we're doing after the rake, we're going right into a bend, release, and pull off from that 14th fret to 12 on the 3rd string, ending on 14 on the 4th. Alright, it takes some practice. Work on that, and I've seen just a lot of people do it at the 12th fret, which they do the 2nd time through. So there's 2 of them. One with the D note, one without. Alright, after that, and again my notes are linked below that, we're going to slide into 14 on the 4th string, hitting 12 to 14 bent. Alright, so that 14 we're going to hit it and then hit it again and bend it. Then we're going to slide in just like we did, come up 12 to 14 and then hit 15 and bend that up instead of 14. Alright, at that point we're going to move to the 15th position. We're going to hit 17 with a slight bend and then 17 without. And then we're going to go to 15 on that 1st string with a slight bend. Catch 17 on the 2nd string. So we have this so far. Alright, that's the first 2 measures of the solo. I'm going to go over the next couple and we'll talk about that. Alright, I'm going to take the next measure. There's a lot of notes to it. So this is the 3rd measure of the solo. Alright, it continues from there, but I want to take a break because, again, there's a lot of notes. So this is the 3rd measure I've written out. It starts off on the 1st string. We're going to pull off from 17 to 15, go to 17 on the 2nd, and then 17 again on the 1st. Then we're going to do a pull off to 16 and 15 from 17, ending on 17 on the 2nd string. Then we're going to go 15 2nd, 15 1st, ending on 17 on the 2nd. Alright, so again, this really melds together very quick, but this next lick from the top slowly to this half measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, from there what we're going to do is hit 17 again on the 2nd string to 15 on the 1st string, 17 on the 1st string, then we'll hit 17 again with a bend and 17 without. Then we go 15, 17, back to 15. And then real quickly to 17. So the second half of the measure slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so let's take that whole measure together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, the next measure will sound like this. Alright, I'm going to just stop there, again, because the last measure has a lot of notes too. So right there, our 4th measure starts at the 2nd string at 17 to the 1st string at 17 bent, to unbent, bent, unbent, and then 15, 17, 15 with a slight bend, to 17 at the second string. Then we're just going to give it some vibrato. Then we'll hit it again. It's, I think, I'm guessing an 8 count. Maybe a 4 count. And then 2 more that are quick and 1 medium. Alright, so we have this so far. Let's take that last measure together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, the very last measure will go like this. Alright, so we're ending the solo here. The way it starts out, we come from 17 on the 2nd fret to 15 on the 1st, back to 17, and then 17 bent. 17 unbent, and then 15, 17, then 15 with a slight bend and vibrato to 17 on the 2nd. Alright, so far this. Now the last part of the lick, we're going to go 15, 17 on the 2nd string to 15, 17 pulled off to 15 twice. Ending on 17 on the 2nd string, then we'll hit 17 again before sliding off. So the very last measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that's the whole solo. Before we end the video, I'm going to go through the whole thing with you at a slow speed so you can see how everything fits together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so I really hope that helps everybody. Like I said, my notes will be below here, and God bless Charlie Watts. Neil Peart lost a couple of great drummers, and I'm glad the Stones are soldiering on, just because there's a lot of people that depend on working, and they are providing them with work. And they haven't worked in a few years. So God bless them all. Enjoy.